Yay, recording this video on Tuesday, the 8th of February 2022. It's just gone 10:46 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So, very late to be putting out a video, but I've not put anything out in the last couple of days. And when I went through my charts today, just all of the supports and end of trend signals just jumped out at me, and I thought I'd just talk about those in this video. A couple of videos ago, when we had the breakdown on the market, talked about what we should be looking for in terms of playing out to the downside, and we've done all of those things. So I'm going to show you, just going from the lowest time frame minute charts, the 1545, 135 minute chart, and then the daily chart, and just show you what how the bottom has kind of played out. Just a note though, I did get a good question a couple of weeks ago. Someone was talking about why I don't use tick bar charts to look at these kind of patterns on the higher time frames. And the reason is just practicality. The tick bar charts are great for the lower time frames, but as soon as you get up to something where you want to be looking back over a couple of weeks trading, you need to turn on the minute charts, because it just doesn't work on tick bar charts. It's too kind of computer intensive. So that's why we're looking at kind of minute charts. And the 15-minute chart is a great one for kind of looking down at the market. And this is the sell-off that we had. You know, we broke down through these supports at 4,600, just under, and we moved into this really strong move on the downside. It didn't get to 4,000. I was kind of hoping for 4,000 or 4,100 maybe on the downside, but we never got there. 4,002 something was kind of, I think it was 4,220, something like that on the downside, kind of down here. But what I want to show you is how the pullback to end of trends have rippled through the time frames. So I like Better Sine Wave because it turns the market into one of two phases. We're either in a trending phase or we're in a cyclical phase. In the trending phase, we're kind of breaking supports or resistances and kind of going in a direction. And then we stop, we put in end of trend signals where the trend part has finished, and then we go through a cyclical pattern where we kind of bat backwards and forwards between kind of higher time frame support and resistances until we get the next break into the next trending move. So we go through these phases where we're trending, cycling, trending, and cycling. And so this is the trending move. We've broken into our downtrend, and here on the lowest time frame we can see pullback to end of trend. That's the first one. Then we have a pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. We bounce from there, and here we put in pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame. So we're looking at the kind of thickness of the lines. There's that little end of trend with a very thin line, slightly thicker line, end of trend on the intermediate time frame, very thick line, end of trend on the highest time frame. So on the 15-minute chart, what we've done is we've basically played out all of the trending energy on the downside. I know we had a kind of a severe kind of bounce from here, but what I'm seeing now is a whole bunch of support levels kind of coming in that will then mean that we go through a little bit of consolidation possibly, and then the next break, which usually is breaking in the next direction up. But, you know, wait and see what the professionals kind of do. Having said that, you know, all I see is kind of supports. This number is absolutely critical, the low over the last couple of days. So 44.50, kind of around there. If we break that in the next day or two to the downside, kind of all bets are off. It's like this downside move is then going to kind of reassert itself on the way down, but that's not what I'm playing at the moment. So 15-minute chart, we rippled through these end of trends. The trending energy now is done on the downside, and so we're going to be starting to see breaks into trends on the upside, and maybe running into some trouble when we hit resistance on the highest time frame here. So that's our cross that we had that put in the end of trend. This has now got to move all the way back up to plus 100 and cross over, and that's the first place where we'll have a little bit of trouble on the 15-minute chart. But then we can back it up to the 45-minute chart. So again, a factor of 3 above, and you can see that pullback to end of trend. What was a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame on the 15 becomes the intermediate time frame here. You can see the way we kind of rolled down, pullback to end of trend, pullback to end of trend. There we got red bars going on. So we're showing strength, we're breaking through resistances, and we're potentially moving into kind of an uptrend zone. And then up another time frame, so 3 times 45 is the 135-minute chart. There are 3 135-minute bars in a day session, and there's the pullback support that we've got in this highest time frame kind of come in here. We're white bars in this time frame, the 135, but as soon as we break back above this level 45.72, that should kind of trick us into an uptrend on this time frame on the 135-minute chart. And then on the daily chart, bang, there's that pullback level there. So the pullback level, all of these things kind of compound through the time frames. So that's that pullback level on the highest time frame on the 135 is the intermediate time frame on the next highest time frame up. So I did talk about this, saying that the E-mini was pretty damn strong because we'd never seen that pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame kind of roll out. We'd seen it on the Russell kind of months and months ago, almost at the beginning of last year. But we got to put in that pullback to end of trend here, and it's been in a strong uptrend the whole time on the E-mini. All the bars are red, kind of going on here. So really, yeah, we did some damage to the downside, but all we've done now is found support on multiple time frames, kind of rippling through these time frames, and so we're going to test into the highs. So there we go. But we've got a couple of numbers that we've got to be really conscious of. 44.56, absolutely key. We've got to stay above that. We break below that, kind of all bets are off. This analysis will be wrong, and we're not kind of moving into a cycling phase with potential trending move to the upside. So it's 44.56 there. I'd also look at this number. Well, it's pretty low, the 42 number. I think we're going to run pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. I think we've got a good chance of doing that. But in the way, we have a couple of things going on. So you can see here, this is the slightly thicker lines here on Better Sine Wave. They're crossed, and that's why we had the pullback support. So that's got to run pullback to end of trend. But in the meantime, we will find a resistance on the daily chart that comes in when these two lines kind of cross. So between now and next couple of days, that's going to kind of come in. So we could have some. We've had 3 days, 4 days, maybe 5 days, really. If you look at these bars here, a little bit of consolidation here, and not particularly big range. I mean, don't get me wrong, decent ranges. Very happy with the ranges we've seen, but maybe we'll see a nice kind of ranging day potentially, tomorrow into the next day to take us up, and suddenly we realize that bottom is really important. We're running pullback to end of trend. I think last year, was just, well, the last 2 years, ever since the COVID kind of sell-off here, we've been in a strong uptrend here. I think we're going to go through a kind of cyclical pattern at these highs, and there's going to be far more batting backwards and forwards as we kind of work out the end of that trend on the highest kind of time frames here on the daily charts. And so it's not going to be as easy as this. I think we're going to have to be pretty nimble over the next few weeks and months as we work out this kind of energy on the upside. So that's what I'm seeing. A whole bunch of supports kind of going off on all the time frames. Just have a little review of today's tip bar charts because there was good trading today. Hope you caught some of the signals. This is my day trading kind of setup here, the 500 and the 1500 tip bar chart. A little bit squashed up because I put on these scroll bars on the bottom so I can go back and show you what kind of happened this morning. But this morning we kind of sold off, and around 9 o'clock the low was made here. Whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of came in here just around the 9 a.m. time frame, and we had a little signal here, triple signal kind of go off on the 500 tip bar chart. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence kind of down here. We were oversold on Better Sine Wave, and we had the professional bars. As soon as we broke above the high of that, bang, we got going into this move. A little bit of weakness here, but we got caught. We were in an uptrend, and so we just proceeded to work out this uptrend until we had exhaustion buy signals, blue professional bars at the highs, 45.20, kind of up here just after 11 a.m. and that's kind of just off the chart just there. So I always say, we run exhaustion sell to exhaustion buy. That was the end of this move. We kind of tested back up, and that's when we put in our bearish divergence pattern here, and we got a triple signal on the 1500 tip bar chart. I think we'd had one also, a little bit earlier here on the 500 tip bar chart, and we're in a downtrend in this phase here until Whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of coming again. It's not exhaustion sell on the downside, bit of exhaustion buy actually, kind of getting the move going. But we did have a triple signal on the 500 tip bar chart. We had oversold down here, exhaustion sell. We broke above the blue professional bars, and we kind of got going to the upside. And that was a nice little run into 45, kind of 20 at the end of the day. Whole bunch of blue professional bars at the end of the day. Directionally, they don't mean anything because they're just kind of professionals squaring off at the end of the day, maybe kind of putting on positions for the next couple of days. So it's difficult to interpret those at that point. I'm always thinking of the markets kind of shutting really about 10 to 3 at that point there when we had exhaustion buy. So we had some nice little trades, kind of long into 11 a.m., kind of short into 2 p.m., and then long again into the close of the day. Anyway, hope your trading went well today and looking forward to tomorrow.